Uh, Welcome back to TEW Impact, and it is time for Rebellion. We are finally here after a number of weeks. Let's just get right into it with some pre-Rebellion news. If you were here the last episode of Impact, we found out Davey Richards had suffered a broken foot, in his in the Wolves match against the Gospel of Violence. Um, Winning that match advanced them to the finals of the Good Brothers Tag Team Tournament, which is supposed to take place tonight. Um, we got some fairly good news out of that, is that he will only be out for 16 days, which puts us just at, I think, after the Under Siege pay-per-view. Um, I would probably have to go back and look for sure, but I know Under Siege is 2 weeks from tonight, and it was 16 days from the Friday after Impact. I assume that they forecasted that for, so I assume that's gonna put him like returning just after the Under Siege pay per view. But yeah, 16 days for a broken foot seems low, but what do I know? I'm not a um physical therapist or anything like that, but uh broken foot seems kind of major. But yeah, 16 days, just a little over 2 weeks, that's pretty good for us. So but that's not the only thing involving Davey, because the day after Impact, um Davey got into the news by I guess calling out Enzo. Um has now developed a strong dislike relationship with him, which is which won't affect us because Enzo is not on our roster and likely never will be. Um, but they are both employed by MLW, where Davey is their world champion. So that's their problem, not ours. But just kind of found it funny that Davey broke his foot and then uh went in on Enzo the next day. Um yeah. Like I said, not really our problem, but kind of makes me wonder if we got the Davy Richards of old. I did look at his data and it said he was still married to um Angel Williams, aka Angelina Love, which is very not correct. Or no, yeah, just that dissolved a long time ago, I bet. So, but yeah, I don't know if Davey, don't know if Davey has like troublemaker stats or anything, but yeah, breaks a foot and then pisses off Enzo, or Enzo pisses off him, whatever. But yeah, makes me wonder. We'll see how that works out. Um, Thankfully hasn't, like I said, uh out for only 2 weeks. He's gonna miss two pay-per-views, but long-term planning for them from me hasn't really changed all that much. So just kind of had to move around some things, and everything will be okay on our side. Also, I offered a contract extension to Shara. Um, I must not have put this in the notes. I think I just kind of forgot and just let it sit. And then when I finished booking Impact, it said it was the last day that we could negotiate with him. So I just basically offered him, the default of what he was making, which probably is a small increase per show and a handshake deal. So yeah. So I assume we'll probably keep him around. And I kind of had to do it considering he's booked on a pre-show match tonight. So, and then we had a backstage incident. Zicky Dice arranged a poker tournament, which it's kind of ironic considering he's booked in the casino match in the pre-show. Um, he is still at annoyed status. I don't know if the poker tournament had any effect on him, but hopefully it had some on backstage morale, which I didn't check, but was still in pretty good shape as far as we're concerned. Um, yeah, and then I'll just do the impact numbers. Not a whole lot went down with our or really no change between our impact numbers. Before the impact, 0.01, same as always. Impact 0.26 rating, same as last week. Attendance 337, which is down from 360 last week. So we are going down back a little bit with our attendance figures. But our overall rating for impact was 42, which was down from 43 last week, but considering 43 was our best show that we had done up to this point, I will still take that. Um, gonna go into Rebellion, well, the pre-show, but fingers crossed because I actually had some I've kind of been messing with pre-booking, even though like I pre-book and I lay everything out on paper beforehand. I did kind of start using the pre-booking feature in TEW, and I probably won't from now on because of Davey Richards' injury. I had pre-booked the Wolves versus the Machine Guns, but since he got injured and I had actually started booking Rebellion, I couldn't I couldn't delete the match because I had already started booking the show, but I couldn't use the match and put it on the match card, hopefully in an effort to delete it, but because Davey was injured. So that kind of screwed me over. It says I think I can still run the show as is, considering I don't have mandatory pre-booking. I was just, I'm just using it as, a guideline, but considering I have most of my stuff booked on paper beforehand, I probably won't use it going forward. So, uh, we'll go into Impact. Fingers crossed, I don't screw anything up here. All right. So in our pre-show match, well, our first pre-show match, we I didn't really have any creative team names for these groups, but I named them the Positiva Team of Quinn McKay, Rachel Ellering, and Roxy, since they're all happy and smiley, versus the Steels crew. Again, I did not have a good name for them. Of Tasha Steele, Savannah Evans, and Janai Kai. The faces defeated the heels when Quinn McKay pinned Janai Kai. Segment rating of 30. Kind of better than I had hoped. Considering like singles matches, like with Quinn McKay, we're still kind of building her up, and Janai Kai, who is brand new. Um, yeah, she has a performance of 23. Quinn McKay has a performance of 20. Uh, so these are talent that we're trying to build up, but they are on the pre-show and before the impact, so um, slightly better numbers than I had anticipated for this match. Segment rating of 30. Quinn McKay pins Janai Kai. And then we go backstage. This is a segment to explain what has gone on with Davey Richards and his broken foot. Basically, we have Gail Kim backstage with the Motor City Machine Guns and Eddie Edwards, and Gail is just saying like it's up to you guys if you wanna, we can postpone the match. I know Davey's only out for a couple weeks. We could postpone the match. We can hold it to a later date when he's fresh. But we don't have to do this tonight. And Eddie's like, no, I want a shot at the Good Brothers, and I want my shot at the tag team titles, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it tonight with or without Davey. I know he has my back, and he's gonna be with me in the ring tonight. And Sabin and Shelly are just kind of like, I we can respect that, but like if we do this match tonight, we're not gonna hold back. If if it's a 2-on-1, you want it, we'll give it to you, but we're not gonna feel bad for you. We want that tag team title, those tag team titles just as bad as you do. So, good luck. they kind of shake on it and go their separate ways. So yeah, um, the Good Brothers Invitational Tag Team Tournament Finals will now be a handicap match with the Machine Guns versus Eddie Edwards going it alone. I should have mentioned, but Gilkin probably would have mentioned, hey, you can have a tag team partner, you can have a replacement partner. Of course, Eddie wouldn't want that. He wouldn't want to replace Davey. He brought Davey in for a reason to have his back, and he knows, he knows Davey's gonna have his back tonight, even if he's not gonna be here. So that's how it's gonna be. Eddie's made his decision. He's gonna go it alone. For better or for worse. Segment rating of 45, and then we go to the casino match where we had put this yeah, we actually booked this in a compound match. This is a brawl at the casino that Ace Austin had uh torn apart with the help of Raj and Shara, but unfortunately they do not get the win. Swinger gets the pin on Ace Austin following interference from James Mitchell. Basically, Mitchell comes out and throws a fireball in Ace Austin's eyes, which allows Swinger to get the pin. I'm trying to look at the notes. Cheryl was really off his game, and the cinematic approach backfired. The match was a bit of a mess. Kind of expected that. But yeah, it was a brawl, a cinematic compound brawl. So of course it's probably going to be a mess. But Swinger's getting better at his gimmick. So segment rating of 27, and we go to the show proper. We start off with the number one contender match to the X Division title. Shane Strickland defeating Trey Miguel in 9:42 with the JML driver. Um, yeah, so uh, I don't think I had anything at ringside for him to be decisive finish and in pinfall. I was kind of thinking I had something distracting Trey Miguel, but no. Um, Penalized for odd face heel combination, but yeah, they're two faces. But the story here is that Shane Strickland is going on to Under Siege, the number one contender to the X Division title, whether that's going to be Shark Boy or Steve Maclin, we will see later. Segment rating of 45. And then afterwards, we get a sign of respect. Shane Strickland shakes Trey's hand. Trey, of course, is bummed that he lost, but, willing to accept the handshake. And, they raise each other's arms after the match for a show of good sportsmanship. Segment rating of 30. And then we go to our digital media championship match where Chelsea Green defeats Jordynne Grace and becomes the digital media championship holder. She doesn't become the actual belt. She wins the belt. But the bigger story was because she won due to interference from Deonna Purrazzo. Of course, we had Maria Kanellis and Michael Bennett banned from the building so that Maria would not likely interfere on behalf of Chelsea, but instead Deonna Purrazzo did. Um, Despite the fact that she has a important match of her own later on tonight. She comes down, she basically distracts Jordynne, allowing Chelsea Green to bit the van prettier. Chelsea wins. So yeah, Chelsea, Deonna kind of makes her way to the back afterwards, but Chelsea sees that Deonna was the one that helped her out, and we don't really get much of that yet. Anyway, segment rating of 31. We finally decided to end the storyline of the It couple, which originally involved Matt Cardona. He's been gone, and we've factored in Maria and Jonathan Gresham and all that. So the end game was to get the digital media title onto Chelsea, and we're just ending the storyline there. And then we come out to, or Eric Young comes out to the ring alone. And like he mentioned last week or a couple days ago on Impact, um, he's going to call out Joe Doring. He said he kind of reiterates what he said last Impact, where Joe's been spending too much time in Japan, not reporting back to him, not doing things for the cause of violence by design or following his lead, just off doing his own thing in Japan. So he's decided to call him out for a face-to-face confrontation tonight. But as he's waiting, the announcers put over the fact that no one's seen Joe at all today. He has not come to the arena, so it's likely known that Joe was in Japan, and Eric Young knew this and used it to his advantage, likely to one to save face and two to make Joe look bad. Uh, and after a few minutes of waiting and the fans getting restless, Young's just like, okay, Joe, you've made your decision, and it's gonna end up being the worst decision of your life. And he throws the microphone down and storms off. Segment rating of 20. Not that great considering it's just Eric Young talking. We get Brian Myers versus Dalton Castle. General match. Dalton seemed off his game, but they had equal performance, in-ring performance, segment rating 42. But in the end, Dalton pins Brian Myers clean after 10 minutes with a bangerang. It's likely that Brian was distracted mentally on the fact that he has no alerting tree at his side and to back him up. Um, you know, he did well enough on talent alone, but the fact that he didn't have his normal backup with him and the fact that he still has to figure out and find out who took them was worrying him and, left him probably distracted to leave him open for an attack from Castle. Castle celebrates after the match. Myers is sitting alone in the ring. Eventually he gets a microphone and he's like, "All right, I'm sick of this. All right, whoever you are, you're probably laughing at me like all these fans are. I just lost to Dalton Castle. Haha. The most professional wrestlers lost to, you know, the, flamboyant peacock and blah blah blah." And he's just like ranting and raving, and he's just like, I want my guys back. What about me? What about Brian? What about me? Why can't I have my guys back? And that draws out Raven. Raven comes out and with a microphone of his own, and Raven's just basically like, "Oh, look at you, Brian. I've known for sure that, all these past months or something, like, so these past months or so, you've been wanting to be me so bad. You walk around, you know, bragging about how you beat, Tommy Dreamer. I beat Tommy Dreamer like 12 times before you even hit puberty. It's not like it's that hard. So you go around, you're doing the arms out pose, and worse yet, you go out and you get your own flock, and that's just insulting. And now you're, in the ring talking about what about me? What about Brian? Stop ripping me off. So, you know what I did? I went out and I took your flock, and your flock is now my flock. And Brian is just like freaking out, and he's like, "No, I don't believe you." I know about you, like blah blah blah, and I don't believe you. Prove it. Prove to me that you have my guys. And he's like, well, I'll prove it on, I'll prove them on Impact. I don't have them here. They're safe in a, undisclosed location, but I'm making them see my way, my light. I'm training them to, live under me, and you will see the results on Impact. I will bring out my new flock, which was your old flock, and of course, Brian Myers is not having any of that. He's kicking the ropes and everything, and Raven does his pose and walks out. So Raven's back in Impact. He apparently is the mystery kidnapper of the Learning Tree. He has a cult leader gimmick, and it received an initial rate of great, which is good. But segment rate of 29, I was kind of hoping he would do better, like his return or whatever would be better. Um, Penalized for not being a very good baby face. So yeah, he technically is the face. So whatever. Yeah, Raven has kidnapped the Learning Tree and apparently is now his new flock. Our X Division Championship match, we get Steve Maclin defeating Shark Boy. Due to fuckery. um, of course, Shark Boy probably wasn't going to last long considering his age and condition. But he hung in there. Steve Maclin really only won due to nefarious means. At one point, he threw the referee, gets knocked out, and Homicide runs out to take over as the referee. But in the end, Maclin takes out Shark Boy uh, due to Homicide's lack of um, performance as a referee. Would probably did not see Maclin's feet on the ropes for leverage. So Steve Maclin, for months after declaring that a conspiracy was against him from being the X Division Championship, has now won the belt. And we have finally ended the Respect the X storyline with this. Gone on for way too long and did not really do all that great. Um, Honestly, I was going to end this sooner before I had the idea to inject Shark Boy into this and kind of have a feel good moment and have him win the X Division title for at least a little bit. But in the end, Steve Maclin squeaks one out and finally gets what he has what he has wanted and what he has complained about for months now, and that's becoming an X Division championship. Or he's the champion. He doesn't become the title. He has the title. Segment rating of 26. We start the Good Brothers Tag Team Invitational Tournament. Basically, this segment has the Morrissey Machine Guns. I don't have or not actually. I don't have Eddie Edwards. Basically the entrances for this match go down, but before the match starts, the Good Brothers come out with their tag team titles. They take uh and they also have chairs with them. They take seats up on the ramp and decide to watch the finals from the ramp and want to see who comes out the victor and who gets the next shot at the tag team titles at Under Siege, segment rating of 39. And in the end, the Motor City Machine Guns beat Eddie Edwards in a handicap match. 13 minutes. Kind of wanted to put like Eddie Edwards toughing it out as much as he could. He gets spots of, inspiration where he's close to winning, but doesn't quite, cut it out, or doesn't quite get the win, but he comes close. But in the end, it's just 2-on-1. Um, maybe if this was, if Davey had not broken his foot and this was 2-on-2 like it was supposed to be, maybe it could have gone either way, but the Motor City Machine Guns eventually win the match. Segment rating of 49. And then after the match, the Good Brothers come out, and at first they well, at first, the Motor City Machine Guns celebrate their win. Eddie Edwards joins them. They shake hands, they hug, they, show respect to each other. Eddie, put up a good fight, but it wasn't to be tonight, especially without a partner. Eventually the tag team champions, the Good Brothers come out. They're clapping, but you get, of course, they're the Good Brothers. They're kind of like mockingly applauding. Um, they Nobody thinks, their appreciation is genuine. Um, and then not only do the Good Brothers eventually lay out the Morrissey machine guns, but the Gospel of Violence come out and attack Eddie as well. So it's basically a 4-on-3 fight. Uh, Good Brothers versus the Morrissey machine guns. They set that up for Under Siege for the titles as they brawl, but also the Gospel of Violence beating up Eddie Edwards, who they also put Eddie's tag team partner on the shelf. So, like I said, 4-on-3 brawl with the three having just undergone a grueling match, and these four being fresh. It doesn't really last a whole that long. But segment rating of 41 for that. Meanwhile, we go backstage to the Falls Count Anywhere match that doesn't even get to the ring. It's pretty much all takes place all backstage. Um, I have this as a wild brawl. Um, Unfortunately, the storyline has lost heat. Basically, Jake um is able to hang with Morrissey, but Morrissey eventually lays him out with a big boot, and then piles a bunch of crap onto him before getting the fall, ensuring that something cannot uh, kick out of all the crap that he's been buried under. So Morrissey wins the Falls Count Anywhere match, segment rating of 31. And then we get a entrance for the champ, Deonna Purrazzo. Comes out alone. She does not come out with Black Taurus or Matthew Raywalt, but she does have at least the two belts that she is defending tonight with her that she brings to the ring. Uh, the Knockouts title and the Reina de Reinas title. Um, Both are on the line in the following match. Segment ring of 24, lack of anything interesting happening was a problem. But the match, we get Deonna Purrazzo versus Rosemary versus Taya Valkyrie. We go over the steps that if Rosemary pins Deonna, she becomes Knockouts champion. If Taya pins Deonna, she becomes the AAA Reina de Reinas title holder. But neither of that happens. Deonna Purrazzo comes out with the win, retaining both titles. Basically, it starts off as a 2-on-1 match with Rosemary and Taya beating on Deonna, taking turns with her. But when it comes to the eventual pinfall, uh, neither one can decide who will get the pin because both of them want to be champion. So they eventually brawl amongst themselves. Eventually, Chelsea Green, the new digital media champion, comes out with her belt. As Taya Valkyrie is outside of the ring, Chelsea knocks out Taya with her digital media title. Rosemary is in the ring with Deonna. Rosemary goes for the mist, but Deonna has the Knockouts title belt of her own. She blocks the mist, and while the ref is dealing with Chelsea and telling her to go to the back, Deonna hits Rosemary with her title belt and gets the pin. Deonna Purrazzo walks off, double champion, retaining her Knockouts title and the Reina de Reinas title. And it looks like a alliance with Chelsea Green, who she had helped win the Digital Media Championship, has been formed. And they walk off together with all their belts, celebrating, laughing in the face of the fans. Segment rating of 41. I don't. This was supposed to be Deonna and Chelsea, not Deonna and Jordynne. Uh, but we got a 40. I will take it. An alliance with Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green, not Jordynne Grace, have been made, having now three titles between them, four if you count the Ring of Honor World or Women's title, but that we've been kind of fading that out lately. Um, but yeah, segment rating of 40 for that. We go to Gail Kim, and she is backstage, and she says that the rumors are true. She has been in negotiations with new talent, and the negotiations have been finalized. And she would like to introduce everyone to Impact's newest recruit, Zhao Zia. I'm likely mispronouncing that very badly. The former Xia Li from WWE, who had just left. We are signing her now. Segment rating of 32. We are giving her a legitimate martial artist gimmick. Initial rating of very good. I'm glad it got a very good rating because we also gave Janai Kai this gimmick, and it comes with a lot of negatives, but as long as we take her seriously, I think we should be good. Um, Basically, we are kind of keeping her as is. We're not giving her like goofy lightning effects in her entrance, but she is coming out as a legit martial artist, like a master of fans and the weapons that she uses in her entrance and all that. So yeah, Xia Li, Zhao Zia, um, our newest recruit to Impact. But as everyone celebrates, the video feed of Gail Kim is interrupted by a video feed of Maria Kanellis and Michael Bennett. They are in an office, an undisclosed office. It kind of looks like a law office. They are sitting at a desk, filling out paperwork, and basically Maria goes into a rant and she applauds Gail. She's mocking Gail. She's like, "Oh, that's great. Good for you. You've signed new talent. But this in the end, that's not gonna work out for you, is it? Because I have a plan. You know, when you banned me and my husband from Rebellion tonight from the building to interfere, it gave me an idea that we're never going to be taken seriously in Impact. And, we're here in this law office to set things right. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not filing any sort of like defamation sort of lawsuit or anything. You don't have to worry about being sued. I wouldn't do that. And what I have, you know, what I have in mind, my future plans are much bigger, and they involve the future of Impact and involves taking over Impact. Now I could come in here with a bunch of, talent and do a takeover, but those never work out. What I'm doing right now, what I'm drawing up is a buyout offer for Impact. You see, I'm a smart businesswoman. I'm not a dumb wrestler like you or everyone else in Impact. I've saved my money. I'm a smart businesswoman, and I have a generous offer to buy Impact and run it as I see fit. And eventually the camera pans out and you see that Robert Evans, Barrister Evans, is speaking on behalf of Maria Kanellis and Michael Bennett. He has drawn up the legal paperwork to form Maria Kanell LC, the parent company, to buy out Impact. And all it needs is an acceptance from Anthem and Ed Nordholm to seal the deal. And that's all it takes. We just have to go through the due process, and eventually Maria Kanellis will own Impact Wrestling. And Maria, they end the segment by celebrating and signing paperwork, and Maria has an evil laugh and all that. But basically, this stakes out Maria's master plan to own Impact and run Impact. And she does say that anyone who wishes to remain an employee better get on her good side because she will be making cuts, and likely the first one of them will be Gail Kim. Uh, so we will stay tuned with that development. Segment rating of 34. I must say we're not gonna officially turn or Robert Evans heel. He is technically a face, but we've done pretty bad with instant heel and face turns. I at least want one to work out, so we're gonna technically hold this one off. We'll at least pretend. So we'll continue. And then in our main event, Impact title versus Ring of Honor World title. Josh Alexander defeated Jonathan Gresham 22 minutes by submission. It's his first defense of the Impact title, but he wins the Ring of Honor World title. I know technically the of Honor World title does not exist, and now this is kind of our way of writing that off. So this match, the result was kind of foregone conclusion, but I did want to see how good of a match these two could put on, and if it could give our show a good number. It has, at least relatively, segment rating of 47. Probably could have done better considering they both have performances in the 50s. The Josh Alexander as, world champ storylines gained heat. The match was too long, and I kind of figured it would be. I said it as a technical masterclass that was a slow build because I figured that would be that style. But of course, since they're both faces, that probably was a detriment. Yeah, I booked it as 23 minutes, 25 total with entrances. Bonus, penalized. Well, both were penalized for not using spinal impact moves. Penalized for length and penalized for both being faces. So could have done better, but did good nonetheless. Josh Alexander remains Impact World Champ and Ring of Honor World Champ. And we end the show by Josh Alexander holding both belts up high. Jonathan Gresham um, walks off dejectedly. He reminder that he did tap out, you know, one of the best current submission wrestlers going today, and he tapped out to Josh Alexander. So likely not a good night for him. Likely taking it hard, especially considering this, could be the end of Ring of Honor. They do not run shows, and this was their belt, so likely taking the end of Ring of Honor to heart. So a bittersweet ending. Josh Alexander continues his role, but at the cost of Ring of Honor, essentially. So we finished the show. Overall rating of 45, and the show has increased our popularity in 16 regions. Um, probably our best show so far. Consider no, what did I say? 43 was our best show, so 45 would be our best show now. I was kind of hoping it would be noticeably substantially better than our impacts, but we had uh Strickland versus Miguel got good numbers. Dalton Castle versus Brian Myers got good number. The tag the handicap the tag team finals match got a good number. The knockouts title got a good number, and so did our main event. But I was kind of hoping they would get bigger, at least noticeably bigger, like maybe in the 50s, considering, the level of show. But whatever, we'll take it. I'm kind of nitpicking at this point. We'll make our speech. We'll say Josh and Jonathan should be praised for a great performance. And then dun, 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 who do we want to? We'll thank Eddie Edwards for being a good example, since he, basically wrestled a tag team match by himself without a partner. So we'll make that speech. Pleased, pleased, pleased. So yeah, I think if I click on that, it'll go into loading. So thanks for joining me. Rebellion is in the books. But also we have Under Siege in 2 weeks. So stay tuned. Like we said, Under Siege will have uh we have two title matches already booked. We're gonna have Steve Maclin making his first defense against Swerve Strickland of the X Division title, and then the Good Brothers will defend against the Motor City Machine Guns. So uh, keep joining us. We will keep building to Under Siege, and then hopefully onwards towards Slammiversary after that. So thanks for joining.